tuning into Roll Call. The movie you selected is Hancock, starring Will Smith.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Roll Call, the show where 2 and now 4 childless millennials are going to be gushing over movies and following an actor's journey from their early years throughout their blockbuster hits.
Yes, because let's face it, I would totally just fly through and destroy a Blockbuster to get my latest rentals and then bounce.
That's it. You're not hitting me with those late fees, sir. I'm going to be flying through.
That'd be one of my many warrants that he had. Be like, numerous Blockbusters destroyed and late fees. But what's up, everybody? I'm Bria, and I would totally have looked at that woman and told her I would break my foot off in her ass as well.
Yeah, she had some looks, and I'm Simone, and I dare you to call me an asshole one more time. But you have to say it in a French accent like that little kid did. Asshole.
Le asshole.
Le asshole.
But in today's episode, we'll chat about Will Smith in the 2008 superhero action movie Hancock. And we have our special guests, Danielle and Jackie from No More Late Fees. What's up, ladies?
Hello.
Yes, so if you haven't listened to the pre-show, this or that, go listen to that. But if not, we shall hammer on and take a trip back to July of 2008.
Oh boy. So it's tough to find anything that's not Dark Knight related if we're like just trying to stick to July of 2008. Hancock had some pretty tough competition. We'll get into box office and stuff later, but when like researching for like summer pop culture 2008, it was all about Dark Knight. So they were Christian Bale, Chris Nolan was taking the superhero world by storm. We get the epic posthumous role of Heath Ledger as the Joker. We know it. We love it. It breaks our heart to see it. Yes.
Where were you when you found out Heath Ledger passed away?
I was on MySpace because I remember everybody's things started flooding of like they were posting about it.
I was at work. Yeah. And someone text messaged me. Maybe my husband text messaged me. And I literally just got up and walked outside so I could Google the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I need a moment because this is really heavy for me.
Really? Yeah.
I don't remember.
That's pretty on brand.
Yeah.
I was at the bowling alley for bowling club.
Oh, you were in a bowling
and someone
club.
got a text.
Yeah. Yeah. If you bowl with Bria, she has her own ball. She have her own shoes, right?
No, I'm not messing with
that. They fell apart recently.
Oh, bummer.
So
I have my own ball only because my mom ran out of gifts to give us for Christmas, and so that was what she thought of. So I have a leopard print bowling ball.
But we used to steal them from the bowling alley.
We've learned not to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to say that, Jackie?
I never took a ball, but my shoes that are in my bowling bag are stolen from a bowling alley.
Was it Holiday Springs? Which one did we go to? Was it the Margate one?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're no longer in business, so it's okay.
Yeah.
They had $2 Tuesdays where you could bowl for $2. So
bowling
alleys
to go
are
all the time. Expensive now.
They are.
Yeah.
I did pull up an article from BuzzFeed, and here's some 25 pop culture moments just from February of 2008. Ooh. So we're gonna just backtrack just a few months prior. Flo Rida and T-Pain continued to dominate the Billboard Hot 100 with "Low."
Baby got, what is it? Shorty got them apple bottom jeans,
boots with some fur.
Yeah, I knew times were rough when my little brother at the time, I had apple bottom jeans on and he started singing the song and I was like, never again.
Wow.
Recently my husband was like, honey, did you know that Flo Rida's name is just Florida? I was like, yes, because I can read.
Maybe he never saw it written out before.
He didn't, and he doesn't do pop culture-y things, so he was very proud of that knowledge.
I was going to say, in his logo, the F is the shape of Florida.
It's the Florida shape, yeah.
We're not laughing at you, Kim.
Oh, he doesn't care.
Oh my god, and this was in Step Up to the Streets? Wow.
Okay.
What a time.
Sure
I just
was.
want to do an episode where we just go over some of the dance movies that came out in this period, because it didn't even make any sense.
Yes, and Camp Rock came out this summer because that also took over the Billboard of July of 2008. It was like all fucking Camp Rock songs. And that, I mean, they danced a little bit. It was mostly about music, but that's where you get the cringy when they
Camp
come
Rock!
out, Camp Rock! Camp Rock!
I've never seen the movie fully. It was like, I was too old at that point. I was not watching Disney anymore.
Yeah. I watched it babysitting, and it was one of those things where I was like, this is dumb, but I was like, I'm invested, so I'll watch the whole thing. Pretty good.
Camp Rock with Demi Lovato.
And the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
And one of the girls from the movie Camp Rock is actually in the Step Up movies. The child actor who was, the name is not coming to me right now. Alison Stoner. Alison Stoner is in Camp Rock, and she's also in the Step Up movies.
Of her from the Missy Elliott videos.
Yeah, she played
Super Short Show.
Yes.
Yeah. I think she was like the DJ in Camp Rock. Anyways, if you need, it's like cringy, it's like Twilight cringy funny to watch. To if you ever just need something to disassociate and watch it, I recommend Camp Rock. And speaking of music, the Juno soundtrack also climbs all the way to the number 1 on the Billboard 200.
That subsector of movies, and that it was just such a time. It was such a hipster time. You've got that movie. You've got the anything with Michael. What's his face?
Michael Cera.
Yeah, Michael Cera. Super bad.
I like I saw the one in theaters when he it was like a bad French version of him, and I don't remember what that movie's called. He had like a mustache, drawn on mustache. And he was like at a boarding school or something. I don't know. But yes, that whole Michael Cera like era.
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim is pretty good.
And Infinite Playlist or
Nick and Nora's.
Nick and Nora.
I love Nick and Nora's. That's one of my comfort movies.
Yeah.
I do love that movie. And when it came out, I was super excited because it was in New York. So I got to like go like a lot of the places in it. I actually would eat there or been there. So I was like, I know that place. It was really fun.
Go to New York with Danielle.
Yeah, you've got some good places up your sleeve, I'm sure.
I hope they're still open. COVID wasn't good to a lot of businesses.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Michael Jackson re-released Thriller in honor of the iconic album's 25th anniversary. This re-release had some remixes from Kanye West, Fergie, and will.i.am. Rolling Stone magazine published Britney Spears' American Tragedy cover story because she's kind of like having a bit of her comeback in 2008. She does really well in the VMAs.
I don't remember watching.
Wait, which VMAs was this? Which song did she play?
This was around Circus, I think. Right?
This was around Circus. Yeah, I don't think because like she came back when she did
Give Me More,
which was
that performance was horrible. Yes. It wasn't horrible, but it was like that should have been a first warning sign to us that something was wrong.
Yeah.
And everyone just made fun of her. And it was like, I remember watching 50 Cent in the audience laughing at her.
Oof.
Yeah.
My thing and I think we talked about this kind of last episode with Simone's sister Leah, because we talked about like Paris, Lindsay, and Brittany. Brittany shaved her head, and Lindsay and Paris like had DUIs and jail stuff. But I don't think I had the wherewithal to like really know what could possibly be going on with her, other than like thinking like maybe she had a drug problem or something. And at
Mm-hmm.
that age, you know, we're very much impressionable about like whatever the media is kind of pushing as like, oh, this is her issue. So I was just like I
Yeah.
don't think she's ready to come back. Like
Yeah.
who okayed that? But yeah, looking back on it now, like obviously it would have should have been a warning sign to people who knew better.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
think that's the great thing about TikTok and social media. We're able to like step out of this control box that we've been in so long. I don't even think it had as much youth. Youth was a part of it, but I also think that we were very much told on like what to think for so long. And I think because of social media, that opens the conversations and it gives us a sneak peek into having real quality conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Because like even Mariah, when she had her breakdown, and I think, you know, not to Dave Chappelle's horn in any way, but after the Chappelle show kind of like had that whole thing and he went to Africa and all that stuff and he was interviewed and he said it's just really interesting that you find these very strong people and they're showing that they're having issues, and we have this tendency to look at them individually, right? How are we looking at these people and saying it's just an individual circumstance? If you look at Lindsay Lohan, she's not the first and not the last child actor to struggle with drugs. Why do they have access to drugs so young? Why are they doing the drugs? What is the systemic issue that's happening? What is tying all these very smart, strong people together? Why is Martin Lawrence running through the street in garbage bags? Why? Why aren't we having that thought process that something is wrong institutionally within that system that they're in? And
I was just gonna say, I think part of it is that, for me at least, like you have people who will easily just go like, "Oh, it's the Illuminati and like these cult like things that are devil worshipping and stuff like that," and not to like write that off completely, but like I would love for like an actual conversation on actual things that could be besides those things that could be that seem more plausible to people, because some people hear that and they're like, okay, I'm exiting, I'm not here for that part of it. But if you're going to do that, you also have to like, you can't just center on that kind of stuff. Like you have to have some like believable like there are things like I believe like the pedophile nature of Hollywood, like I can understand that and grasp that like that's not far-fetched to me. But like when we go to like devil worshipping, I'm like, we gotta ease into this journey, like let's start.
But so many people don't even want to talk about the pedophilia. Like it's right there and it's right there in front of us, and nobody really wants to sit in it, because then I think as individuals we look at it as like a separate entity, but in a weird way we kind of are complicit to the situation, because we have been turning a blind eye for a very long time. You know, if you just look at Drew Barrymore's story, you can fit in, you don't have to be like a genius to fit the holes in that story. Like if you read her autobiography, and she goes into like, and Teffy just did a breakdown, but there's so many things missing in there. 11 years old, 9 years old, 8 years old, in a club, doing drugs, and adult men, adult women were totally fine with her in that scenario, putting her in that scenario. And I think personally, she didn't put all the things that probably really did happen to her in that situation. And she made it out to the other side, whatever way that worked for her. But I don't think her story is by herself, and there's so many people in the fray.
You look at the two Coreys. And when they did start talking about it, like you know, Corey Haim passed away, and Corey Feldman's been trying to say stuff, but I think just even seeing like him struggling to be able to have an outlet to say something is a red flag.
Because he's terrified. The system, and if we didn't start tearing the system down by now with Epstein and like all the things that have come out in the last 3 years alone shows that there's still power in how they're
Very
manipulating and
much.
controlling the
Yeah.
situation. The Me
Yep.
Too movement.
Hayden Panettiere, probably butchered her name, just did an interview because like her daughter, she sent her to the Ukraine to live with her ex-husband
Yeah.
because she was in rehab. And she said it started at age 14 or 15.
Oh my
Like her
God.
handlers started giving her peppy pills is what they called it. And so she started, like, she had an opioid addiction before she was even 18.
Yeah.
So now, like, she doesn't even have custody of her child, and she's like, it breaks my heart, but like, I'm doing what's best for her because I'm still working through my shit,
Yeah.
so I can be a mother to her.
Yeah. And like
And
going
I
back
didn't
to
know
like
that.
Camp Rock, like Demi Lovato, a lot of Disney Nickelodeon kids
Yeah.
struggled with that to fit a certain image, to uphold a certain level of energy, and to just the pressure alone to literally be perfect. And as I was not a kid actor, but I've worked for the Disney company twice in two different like facets, and and have been able just to see the small window of expectation and mold that they try to put you in to fit. And if you're a kid, you're a people pleaser, to be able to have the honor of working with a company like Disney or Nickelodeon, you're willing to do whatever. And also knowing that parents and other adults are willing to just be like, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. It's so heartbreaking.
Because so many of their parents, if you look at the pattern of the ones that kind of fall victim to it, the kids end up being the breadwinner. Their parents put them in really early.
Mhm.
And I think it's kind of crazy that as a society, we're still questioning if this is happening or not, when we know it's been happening for so long. Judy Garland, if you want to look at a story, and she was like, obviously she wasn't the only case.
Yeah.
I think the only time that you can kind of escape it a little bit is if your parents don't leave your side. Like Zendaya, I think, is a really good case of her parents have not left her side, and someone is always with her. Because when they don't have parents that give a shit, you get Macaulay Culkin, you get Shia LaBeouf, you get those scenarios where they're putting money. Yeah, they sell their children. They sell their children. And it's very, very sad. And I look at Will Smith a little bit, and you know, when he talks about his stories of Willow and the whip my hair stuff, and how she had to like shave her head just to get his attention because he too is in that system. I'm not saying he's letting his child get like abused, but it's not being fun for her. And he was so in the business mindset that it took her doing something so drastic for him to like take a step back. And to me, I'm not a parent, but like, if you know how sick the system is, why would you ever let your kids be in it in any way? Maybe he thought that like he was going to be there the whole way through so he could protect them, but the system is like sick. So I don't know why you would even let them. That doesn't make any sense to me. That always made me side eye, like, why?
Yeah.
Well,
especially when she doesn't want to do it.
Families.
There is. I question, it's not just him, but I look at any parents who are in Hollywood as actors. How can you let your kids go into that system? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
It's really scary. Well, I'll wrap that up for regular 2008 pop culture. But Bria, do we have the cover man himself? Was Will on a cover for this month?
Yes. Well, so he actually didn't talk about this with I Am Legend because I didn't know, but he was on the cover of Men's Vogue in January of 2008. So that's a nice photo shoot for I Am Legend. But he is on Jet for Hancock. The Google Books archive of Jet taps out at 2005, so I don't know what's inside, but it is the Hancock glasses and his face picture. And undeniable thing in 2008 for Black culture is that Barack Obama was running and gunning for president and was eventually elected. So he was everywhere on all the magazines, him and Michelle. I'm sure people, I have a t-shirt that I still have, the Hope t-shirt, all the stuff, all the Obama stuff was just everywhere, could not escape it.
My grandma has a framed photo
I was good.
and a commemorative plate hanging over in her living room. You would think she knows the Obamas personally. But that's what most Black grandmas probably have in their house.
Right next to Jesus and MLK. Bam, Barack.
I have their second inauguration. We used to have a set of wine glasses till one of my cats broke one of them. But I found them at like Savers, which is like a thrifting store. And I was just like, why would anyone get rid of these? And then like that's what we drank from when even when Joe was elected, because we're like, okay, all the good juju we can. Like so we pulled them out for
from the
special
bottle when the other dude was here.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm going bad.
I was told to leave work the day that I had to come into work after the election of that one. My boss was like, yeah, I don't think you're going to make it. So I went to a bar and drank for an entire day.
That's fair.
And I've been doing that since 2016.
Woo, man. And we're still dealing with it. But
Yes.
that was a very hopeful time at that time.
Yes.
Even in one of Will's Hancock interviews, they asked him about Obama and campaigning for him. Usher became a dad around this time and a husband, so he's on a few magazine covers talking about that. I feel like that was a cultural shift, because when your male R&B superstar gets married and has kids, it breaks the fantasy. So
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Yep. You're right.
yes, that's when I checked out of Usher. And
Yeah.
so I've actually been, since his Tiny Desk concert, I've been like, you know what, I should go back and listen to what he released post Confessions, because I was uninterested at that point.
Yeah.
And a lot of his magazine covers actually, I think, were for that point, because it was like, oh, he's married, but his songs will still be great, or like, you know, the sexy doesn't stop or something. And I was just like, wow, yeah, a lot of people felt that way, I guess. So, but yeah, some of his albums aren't that bad after Confessions, but yeah, being married, takes the fun out of it sometimes. Nicki Minaj is starting to make waves and pop up. She's in Vibe in 2008. I don't know for sure if she had music out by then, but she might have like signed to Young Money by then and stuff. I definitely know that her album was like 2011, 2010.
Well, she for a while there, she was on everybody, like she jumped on a lot of songs, so she did a lot of collabs, and she I think she had a mixtape at that point.
Okay, yeah. I am not a Barb, so I don't know that much about Nicki Minaj, but that makes sense, because she's definitely starting to be in Vibe and things like of that nature and be featured. And then we're gonna do a little Bob culture of top 100 R&B songs in 2008. I feel like this is wrong, and this should be thoroughly examined, because Lady Gaga is number one with Just Dance, and I don't know.
That's not R&B,
right?
Yeah,
how that
that's
qualifies.
That's all the
That's
blues.
really weird.
I don't want to say that's all the blues without the rhythm, but that's not right. That's not right at all. And it's
very poppy.
And okay, let's just call a spade a spade. The way that our music charts are segregated and how they're called is very racially motivated. And it's so funny how like even this year with Doja Cat, how she was nominated as R&B when we know she's like full on pop, but like they didn't want to give it to her. That girl has been on like had hit after hit after hit, and they put her in R&B. And to put Lady Gaga I don't know if it's because in the beginning of her career she was with Akon at that time. Like when Just Dance came out, like Akon was her producer and he was like the one putting her on. But she shifted right into white culture right after that. Like I could say she didn't have like a Pink moment. You know how when Pink started at her career, she was R&B. I would say Pink started as R&B, but
yeah,
no, Lady Gaga, no. This is wrong. Who made this list?
Playback FM.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, so I'm just going to ditch them where I found them, and we're going to go to Billboard, a more trustworthy source, and the year-end charts for hot R&B and hip-hop songs. We'll just do, like, top 5. Okay. Like You'll Never See Me Again, Alicia Keys. Whew, all in our feeling. I remember Keisha Cole, Just Fine, Mary J. Blige, Heaven Sent Keisha Cole, and Suffocate by Jay Holiday, which had me in a chokehold. That and Bed.
That damn song was everywhere. And Keisha Cole was definitely in her bag. She is I don't know what to call her.
I'd say she's from the Mary J. Blige tree, for sure. Like,
for sure, yes, definitely.
But Heaven Sent too, that was on rotation too, because I think my grandma had one of my grandmas had passed away then, and that was like in my like sad song. It's not really a sad song either, it's a love song, but I was just like, Heaven, sign me up. So keep it short with that, and let's get into the box office of July 2008.
So as I said earlier, Dark Knight was released. It was released after, so Hancock was a July 2nd release. So a nice little pre-4th of July, kind of similar. I'm getting Will's Weekend. I'm thinking of Independence Day as well.
This was his 5th movie, right? That was in the top for making him 4th of July king, right? So
yeah,
I think it was 5 or 6. It was Independence Day, Men in Black 1 and 2,
Wild Wild West,
and this movie.
Yeah. He's a July king. But in addition to Hancock, we have Meet Dave, which is an Eddie Murphy movie. I've never seen it, but the like poster of it looked really familiar.
I wish I didn't meet Dave.
Now, Danielle and Jackie, you just released one of your most recent episodes was The Mummy Returns, which I never have hit played faster on an episode before because I'm a big B. Frage fan. I'm all about the Renaissance, baby. And B. Frage has 2 movies in July of 2008. He was in Journey to the Center of the Earth and Mummy 3, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, which, justice for Evie, we all know that he had a wife swap in the 3rd movie.
Biggest fucking mistake they've ever made in 100%.
Truly.
I never saw Mummy 3. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I probably ever will. As much as I love Brendan, but Journey to the Center of the Earth, I think people sleep on that movie. I was gonna say
the same thing. I love them, and even what's the other one?
The sequel,
with The Rock.
I don't know. Back to the Earth. I don't know.
So
Beyond the Journey.
Something like that.
They're so good.
They're so good. They're just enjoyable, fun movies. Like they just make you smile. Plus, it's Brendan Fraser. So
it's really good. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely see it. I don't know why more people don't talk about that movie. And I totally like it. It just dawned on me that when Brendan did The Mummy Returns, and that was the movie debut of Dwayne Johnson, they never like filmed together. They didn't meet on set. I don't think they met until like the premiere, or even maybe the junction. But then I forgot that they actually did a movie together when they did the second movie.
And so you can imagine that's like weird to like technically be in a movie together, but to not have met on set. It just feels more of like a movie by association, but like all of that stuff was like so heavily CGI'd, right? So it's like,
well, that just happened to Elizabeth Olsen because they were asking about her
Oh,
meeting what's his name? Jim from The Office.
Oh, John Krasinski.
Yeah, they were like, how is it? She's like, I never met that man in my life. And it's because they didn't film any real scenes together, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like it was all green screen. So people were laughing at her response, but it was true. Like she hadn't met him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis was just like, I don't really want to do a superhero movie because they'll just stick me in a warehouse and I'll be acting by myself somewhere.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
used
true.
to love Jamie Lee Curtis, but I don't know. Some of the things that she says gives me like Karen vibes sometimes. And I just want her to have someone sit her down and talk to her.
She's been in the business a long time, and she's also growing up in the biz. Her mom was someone really famous as well.
Her mom was in was in Psycho.
That's
and
it.
Janet Leigh.
Janet Leigh, yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. So-
some people just need, like, some of our legends just need to, like, stay in the shadows a bit instead of, like, utilizing social media or giving opinions more. Like, just, we don't need to know this about you.
Like
Yeah.
our girl Meryl Streep. That's why I feel like white people, and I've heard this a million times, but the white celebrities that age well are the unproblematic ones. Like you don't hear anything about them and they're aging beautifully. Meryl Streep, not a peep. She aging well.
Yep.
She's doing all right.
She's doing good.
Yeah.
And speaking of Meryl Streep, Mamma Mia, the first one, was released in July of 2008. There's also Man on Wire, which literally is about a man like tight-walk roping like across.
Oh, in
That's-
New
That's
York?
Jordan.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I merged his names.
Yeah. And then finally, we'll close it off with Step Brothers, a classic.
Boats and hoes.
Gotta have me my boats and hoes.
We
So-
just become best friends.
Yup. So Bria, I didn't look at the full box office numbers because I know that wasn't my job, but I did hear and kind of quickly see that despite following The Dark Knight and that being obviously like huge commercially, Hancock did pretty well. So hit us with those box office numbers.
So the budget for Hancock is an estimated $150 million. The gross of let's do opening weekend. Opening weekend, US and Canada, is $62.6 million. And then gross US and Canada is $227.9 million. 227 million, yeah. Okay, yeah, whatever. You get it, numbers. Go look at IMDb. And then the gross worldwide is $629.4 million. So a little
Didn't
more
it
than
end
half
up-
a billy.
That's pretty good. And wasn't it like the fourth highest grossing film of that year?
I didn't look at that.
Maybe
sure.
that's what I saw. And I was like, that's not bad to be
Yeah.
fourth. That's still top 5, man.
But yeah, so I think that's high praise. I saw this in theaters. I definitely feel like this was a movie that drew a lot of people in. And then we have our man Lil Raj, Roger Ebert of the Chicago Times. And any guesses on his rating for Hancock?
I think Lil Raj is going to be a little shady. I think he's going to give this 2 or below.
I say 2.5 stars.
I was going to say 2.5 stars.
Wow. Oh, ye of little faith. Lil Raj gave Hancock 3 stars.
Damn! Okay.
Surprised.
Yes, so that's pretty good in Roger Ebert terms. His review starts off with this lovely quote here. I've been waiting for this for years. A superhero movie where the actions of the superheroes have consequences in the real world. And he goes on to mention a lot of the destruction caused by Hancock and the amounts that it costs the city and things of that nature. He goes on to say that Hancock is the latest star showcase for Will Smith. and it has him playing a Skid Row drunk with superpowers and a super hangover. I pulled this because I think it's interesting that he says like star showcase for Will Smith, because I feel like that kind of denotes what he thinks about Will, like this big movie star type dude. But he goes on to say as well, the origin stories of superheroes consistently underwhelm me, and Hancock's is one of the most arbitrary. Even Mary, who knows all about him, doesn't know all that much. And I have a shiny new dime here for any viewer of the movie who can explain exactly how Hancock came into being. Not that it matters much anyway. I guess he had to come into being somehow, and this movie's explanation is as likely as most, which is to say, completely preposterous. And I included this because I was like, skirt! The last movie Charlize Theron and Will Smith did
Sorry.
was Legend of Bagger Vance, which Lil Raj gave 4 stars, and we do not know the
score. That is a perfect Lil Raj score.
And we do not know the motherfucking origins of Bagger Vance at all. And he has a huge problem with, well, not a huge problem, but, you know, he has a problem with not knowing Hancock's origins in a superhero story. And I'm just like, whatever.
I got so much to say about Lil Raj. I usually love him, but first and foremost, he was fine with him playing a magical Negro in Bagger Vance. And he's fine with this character having consequences, which I find very interesting that one of the very first hero movies that we get where he's in fucking jail.
A quarter of the movie. I timed it. It's a quarter of the fucking movie that he's incarcerated.
He's homeless. He's in jail, and he has to like get repercussions, and he willingly goes to jail. That man can spit out bullets and is totally fine, but he goes to be incarcerated, and he's got a white
savior.
Woman.
I was going to say he's got a white
savior. And then they do this weird thing, and I know why they do it between Will Smith and Denzel Washington. I understand. They know that the huge amount of their fan base are Black women. And so they try really hard not to ostracize, get them upset.
There's a relationship, but it's not concrete.
It's always this like fake thing. And the closest thing that I can come to comparing these situations, because it's happened multiple times, both of them have been in movies where they have a white co-star, Pelican Brief, Focus,
Bad Boys,
Men in Black, the first movie,
Man on Fire,
Fire, kind of like, I mean, I don't know if maybe, but like, it's just this weird thing where they look like love interests, but they're not, and I don't understand it. And then I think the similar thing is Aaliyah and Jet Li and Romeo Must Die. They were so afraid, because racism, of having those counterparts kiss each other, because they knew they had to send that movie to Asia, and that was just like going to piss people off.
Wow,
So,
I never thought about.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But also the fact that she's like a teenager, like.
Well, they don't care about that.
Yeah.
They do care about that money going over. They don't like, we've seen way too many movies where the star is like 17 and the guy's like 26, 30 years old. They don't care about that, but they do care about that box office money. So I think there's the same thing happened in Hitch, where they were thinking about Cameron Diaz, and they said no because they did not want to have that interracial relationship between the two stars. So, and I think even when we get to Suicide Squad, obviously their chemistry between him and Harley Quinn were just like, but they don't act on it. It's weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they think we don't see it. But yeah, I side-eyed this movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went into a whole tangent. Sorry.
No, it's okay. My last point from Lil Raj is that he says, and this is, I feel like, a good point for him about Will, is that Smith makes the character more subtle than he has to be, more filled with self-doubt, and more willing to learn. That trying to end on a good note. But
Yeah.
those are excellent points to make. But what are you guys' thoughts on Hancock?
I don't know. With Hancock, I can't decide on it. I honestly can't decide how I feel about this movie. I think it would have been better served if they just went for it and made it an R rating, because not the only, but a comparison I have to it would be like Deadpool, where it's like very dry humor. That's a hard R, anti-hero kind of a movie. And I wish that they ended up going with it.
But if they had committed to the hard R,
just commit to the hard R. And I know there is an unrated version of this movie. I didn't watch the unrated. It's right now, it's streaming free on Netflix, but you can probably either pay for it on Amazon or try and like download it somewhere for an unrated version. So unrated means it's probably an R, and they have some more stuff in there.
What I read about the unrated version, well, the only like scene that I read about was his explosive orgasms.
That's it. And
What?
if I have a sex scene in a movie, I want it to be very purposeful. I am a bit of a prude when it comes to like gratuitous, just like for whatever reason. So I think if they had left that one in, I might have been like rolling my eyes a lot more for this movie. But yes, I did see that, because I felt like, well, one of the reasons why he's such an asshole was that he was like sexually frustrated, right? Because he like couldn't have sex with a woman without killing her. Yeah. And so, but I wish they just said that. Like, why are you such an asshole? Why are you so grumpy? Because he's like, because I can't fuck, dude. And like, that's really difficult for me.
And the only one that he can fuck is refusing to. You left
acknowledge
that
him
man in the hospital.
Yeah.
I don't buy that whole story. Like, so you're telling me back in olden times, y'all were just walking down the street as an interracial couple, an interracial couple, and no one was saying anything.
But that's how he got injured. See, this is what the problem of the movie is. They want to talk about race, but they don't explicitly make it make sense.
But
so,
one of the original actresses that they wanted to be in the movie,
she was Indian, Hollywood actress. Her name, I'm sorry if I butcher this, I wrote it down, is Ashiwara Ray Bachchan.
Was it the girl from Bride and Prejudice?
Let me see. She has like,
it still would have been deemed like interracial or not.
They say she was busy, so I don't know how much I buy that either.
But also Miami was the South, and just randomly he didn't have it. Her being white just added to the fuel. It didn't need much for them to want to attack him.
But I think the weird like plot hole to that whole thing too, and we'll get into the plot too, is that so they're like destined to be together, but when they're together, they become immortal, and that
they become mortal.
Sorry, that's what I meant. I said Kevin already corrected me the first time. Now I can't get it out of my head. They become mortal, which seems like so okay, they're just not meant to be, but they're meant to be, ? I don't know.
No, they're meant to be together so that they can die together and have peace, like, and find happy. They're like happy together so that, they don't have to have these
But
powers.
they said he was made to be the protector. That's why he has like the impenetrable skin and the super strength.
The black man is tired. How long he gonna do this? Forever?
I get it. And I get that's why he's grumpy. Like he can't have sex, and he just has to take care of everyone forever. That's not fun.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I like find so much stuff wrong with this movie. Like, you sacrifice your love. I had to get away from him because it was his job to like carry this whole burden on his shoulders by himself. Like, make it make sense.
Leave him a note at least and be like, hey, Like, this is going to sound far-fetched, but at least you know, and you know who you are instead of just like waking up and you have amnesia
Right.
Yeah.
and you go through life just wondering why you have these powers and what your purpose is and like why no one loves you.
She did
Right.
him wrong.
So,
100%.
so if you were gonna give this movie pumps of butter, how many pumps of butter would you give this? And are you going big jug, big tub, small bag,
I'll do like a regular.
regular size popcorn?
There are some, like, it is very problematic. I am not denying that. But there's some funny shit that happens.
There's some funny stuff, yeah.
And I adore, why can't I think of his
Jason
name?
Bateman.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love him. And he's so good in this movie, even though he's playing the white savior, but like he just has so much heart and you just feel that like empathy and like just really wanting to help people.
Mhm.
He's always so good at, like, honestly, if you were going to say who's the top comedian that could play the straight man, he does it better than anyone else does.
100%.
He really does. I would give it a medium. I don't know. What are the sizes? Small.
It's pumps.
So
Pumps.
yeah, like
Oh.
if you can
Okay.
get a big
Sorry.
popcorn because you're like
1 through
enjoying it,
4.
but yeah, it's like
Oh,
1
okay.
through 4. Like and a full committal, like all the way down. The hard
Okay.
ones.
I'm gonna say 3 pumps of butter.
Okay.
I think.
I'll do a regular size popcorn, like the medium, the not like super size it for 50 cents, but like
Mhm.
the regular one. And I'll do 3. Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
I'm going 3.5, actually.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I
Oh God, yes, this is the one.
yeah, I don't know. This is tough. Like there were moments that were funny to me, but then I just asked a lot of questions and I got a channel to let the movie, and I did like Will Smith's acting because we don't often see him as really an asshole. So I'm going 2.5.
Okay.
Good, not great.
Well, let's continue talking about Jason Bateman and let's talk about the cast.
Yeah. So, in addition to Will Smith starring in this movie as John Hancock, we have another, like we said earlier, 6 Degrees of Separation. Charlize Theron stars as Mary. Jason Bateman is another co-star as the character Ray. And then everyone else we've seen over and over again. Like, I feel like there were a lot of walk-on roles that were like, oh, this person, like Johnny Galecki, who plays someone named Jeremy, but I don't think we ever hear his name in the movie, but he's Big Bang fame. Thomas Lennon, who's in a bunch of comedies. The kid, the little boy that wakes him up on the bench is the same kid from that ABC show, The Middle.
Oh, right. That's
And
right.
I don't know if he officially like is diagnosed with something, but I just feel like he's like a man but looks like a kid all the time.
Is it Brick, the
Yeah.
youngest
Yeah.
kid?
Yeah. And then the Michelle, the little French asshole kid, is the same kid who plays baby Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie Michael Myers remakes.
Oh, didn't know that.
What a claim to fame.
What a
Right.
true claim to fame. And the producers, Akiva Goldsman, Michael Mann, they were also in like the executive boardroom at some point when Bateman was pitching his
Worst idea ever.
art. Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't
And can't
making
forget my
any
man,
sense.
Michael Epps at the end. Mike Epps.
Oh, yeah.
Was he? Oh, I missed
Yes, he
that.
was the guy holding the lady
other robber.
hostage
Uh-huh.
in New York.
Oh.
He's so recognizable. Huh?
I
You must have
don't-
checked out by then.
I was done.
That
Yeah.
child actor, his name is Atticus Finch. No, he's
Wow.
named after Atticus Finch.
I was
His
gonna
name
I
is-
say-
was like, that's
Atticus-
from a book.
Yeah.
His name is Atticus Schaefer.
Okay.
And he has osteogenesis imperfecta,
Yeah.
which causes fragile bones and short stature.
Oh boy.
Aw.
Bummer.
But well, we heard some of what people thought about Jason Bateman. I I like Jason Bateman, but he to me is like an actor. Like he's good at what he does, but he does the same thing every time to
Yeah.
me.
I said the
So-
same thing. I said Jason Bateman is always Jason Bateman, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm not mad at it, but it did surprise me to see him in something so early that isn't like some huge role. Like I've watched Ozark and stuff he's been in since this, obviously. And I'm like, damn, he really hasn't like changed very much.
No, he kind of is like Paul Rudd, where he's aged very slowly.
And it's weird because with Paul Rudd, we've only known him since like early 20s. But for Jason Bateman, we've been watching him since he was a kid. And he disappeared for a while. So, he was on TV for most of his career. And then I think Jackie and I, when we did
Sweetest Thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He was in there, and it felt like, because now he feels really big, like he's a huge star. But like when you watch this movie and other movies, you have to remember that, like, he was slowly just showing up. And then I think he got Arrested Development, and that was like it. He was in almost everything and started being in these comedies.
Yeah.
So playing the same character.
I listened to his podcast, Smartless. And like it sounds like he did have a bout in his late teens, early 20s with drugs and alcohol. He is sober now, and so I mean he's told some crazy stories of things he's done. So I think he had to step away to probably get that under control, find himself, and then re-enter Hollywood.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at his character, so good job for him. Charlize Theron, in one of her interviews, they were like, "What made you want to do this? This isn't like, very Oscar worthy type of movie." And we know her for such big dramatic work and stuff like that and badassery. So I mean, she's a badass in this, so I really liked her. She always looks so different to me with long hair. Like I'm so used to like her hair being like slicked back or short. But yeah, I liked her for what it was. The whole time I watched, I was like, I wish it was a woman of color in this role, specifically a black woman. Like, why couldn't his soulmate be black? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But no problems with her acting here.
I feel like that I agree, and the only reason I say this is not because I feel like there can't be interracial relationships. It's just the fact that we don't really get to see. I'm probably since the only time we really get to see it as much is Marvel, where we get to see strong black female superhero roles in any way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a missed opportunity. And I think for Will, it's probably that whole thing from Hollywood saying that, oh well, no one would see it, which we know not to be true at all at this point. And I just feel like I was fine with Charlize being in it, but I just really wish they just would have committed to it, because they had really good chemistry. So much so that there were so many rumors about the two of them having an affair in real life.
Yeah, in all of the interviews that Will Smith did, he kind of like joked a lot about it, and I was like, I would be careful about because some people cannot like sense sarcasm, and some people could really take that for truth.
No, yeah. They have a movie phone interview with all three of them, and I feel like Jason Bateman's just like awkwardly like with a couple or something, because he's just like, okay, guys. And then there's another press junket where he's like, oh, well, she finds me so attractive, and she just couldn't like.
She was like hanging off me the whole time.
Yeah, and then there's a point too where someone asks her about where she's like talking about his butt, and she's just like, yeah, he's showing his butt a lot these days, it's a really nice ass, like, and I'm just like, damn, y'all have no chill.
Yeah, I want to find out, like, because obviously we know that him and Jada split up for a little bit, supposedly, of what they've said, and so I always wonder like when that time period was, because when we did Hitch and I was like pulling the pictures, him and Eva And yeah, they're like, there's so many pictures of them like legit kissing each other, and they're just on the red carpet. It's just a lot, and I'm like, wait, what's happening? Yeah. And I know the paparazzi, it's like their thing to catch weird moments and stuff like that. But between her, Charlize, and Margot Robbie, if you were to tell me that something was going on with any of those three co-stars, I would say, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. It's hard not to like pretend it's not there, and I don't want to be salacious towards the Smiths or anything like that, but I was like, I can't not note this. Like, this is too obvious. Like, so great chemistry, obviously. I do, unlike you, Simone, I do wish they fucked, because I feel like at that point I was just like,
now, okay,
how did we not get this?
I wanted to see their fuck sesh, not like necessarily like someone
the
else's
random group,
because they this was my first time seeing this movie. I kind of knew the basic premise of it, but it was a surprise. I knew it starred Will Smith, but I didn't know that Jason Bateman and Charlize Theron were in it. And I watched the trailer for the first time, kind of like what you did with I Am Legend, to be like, oh, okay, I'm like seeing it with fresh eyes. And even the trailer doesn't really allude to who she is. And so I knew, like, as watching it, I was like, something's up, right? Like, they either know each other from a past life or whatever, or she's not being truthful. And so that like initial tension when they're in the kitchen and she just like fucking slams him, I'm like, oh yeah. Get it. So if that was a sex scene, I would have been okay with it.
The whole trailer scene feels like foreplay.
Right.
Like I'm like, well, I'm let down now because I got all of this. But where's the actual like sex scene where y'all just like hash it out in the bedroom?
Because I feel like if he just got one good sesh, then he would have been okay to go and, you know, save the world for a few more years. Like maybe every 10 years he comes in and lays one through. You know what I mean?
Right. But her and Bateman can have an open relationship. Right. And then obviously, since she's immortal, like, she's going to have to move on at some point. And so that there's like an open door policy, a hall pass policy.
Well, my thing was, I noted, I was like, how the fuck is he okay knowing that they're soulmates and that she basically is just like trying to human it up with you for the sake of like, I did this for 3,000 years. Like and you know, like, who the guy is, and you've been helping him. Like, I would have been in my feelings.
You're friends.
Yeah. And at the end, when he calls him, I was like, they're still in contact?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm sorry to say this. This movie had not one person of color on it. This is white man logic. I'm going to put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there because it don't make no sense.
When you look at the writers, directors, producers,
the writer is Vince Gilligan of Breaking Bad infamy. Like, that blew my mind too.
Yeah, none of this made any sense. And also, the questions I have are: so if he sleeps with a human, is it the act of release that causes the woman to like get killed, or is it just like penetration?
No, I think it's the release.
Yeah,
that's what went
well,
through.
Then, like, why not pull out? Like, what's the problem?
I think he does, but you know,
he's too miserable to be not have. Like, he doesn't look like he's doing any of the sex.
Yeah, because with the chick in the trailer, he was like, okay, there's some rules, like, you know, and she was just so, you know, adamant about ripping his pants off. And then, you know, they cut away to like the trailer shaking and stuff. And then he's like, oh, all right, like, get out the way. Like, and so she flies across the room. And then that's when he's on the bed. And then there's like holes in the ceiling of the trailer. So that's
probably why he lives on a canyon. So that when he just jacks it, it's just like, like over the city.
Look, a shooting star.
I call that one.
You're on a hike and you're just like, oh, a bird shat on me. Like, what is that?
Oh my god. So gooey.
I wonder too, like, how did Charlize procreate with Jason? If
She didn't.
She didn't.
That's his son. His wife died at childbirth, so
Yeah.
she just
Okay.
adopted him.
I missed that. So
Which
okay.
was almost the same plot as Arrested Development. I was like, well, that's just lazy story writing if we're going to put Jason Bateman in the same scenario again. But yeah, his like wife died during childbirth, and then Charlize was like a nurse or someone who
She met him at the grocery store. That's when he was
that's
trying
it.
to pick up diapers.
That's
I remember some stuff, y'all. Look at that.
I just feel like it had good bones. Like
It did.
the story was there.
Yeah.
It just wasn't done right. We need to rewrite Hitchcock, y'all. Or
Yeah.
Hitchcock.
Yeah.
I keep calling it Hitchcock too.
Thinking of
wanted a
Hitch and
sequel
Hancock.
too,
Yeah.
but I think they could bring this back. What do we think about Will? Like Simone said, this is the first time we really kind of see him as like kind of an asshole, because he gets called it several times in the movie, and that's his trigger. And a drunk. I noticed that this is like, I was surprised that he wanted to do a movie of a superhero, and the superhero is like an alcoholic. But that's something that appealed to him. In his interviews, he said like that was the thing that he was like, I would want to go see that, and that's what made him want to do this. But like, what do we think about his whole shtick?
I'm Jackie. You want to go first?
I mean, I wasn't mad at it. I enjoy Will Smith movies, so like sign me up. Like if you're sitting in hiding with a German Shepherd for the entire movie, cool. You're hanging out with robots, awesome. If you're a drunk ass superhero who's an asshole, like sign me up.
So you're good with the cowboy stuff too?
Wow, Wild West.
I mean, it's not a great movie. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it is what it is. Will Smith is always going to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
Honestly, because when I watched this, it was right after we did Men in Black on our show. We did 1 and 2. And when we did Independence Day, I can say the one thing I can give him props for is that he has grown in his acting abilities. In his first few movies, I think it was just Will Smith playing Will Smith and having that natural charisma, and the jokes are a little corny. But now I feel like in this movie, I felt it to be very real. It didn't feel like, for the first time, it felt like I'm watching a movie, and it didn't feel like Will Smith. It felt like, this is Hancock. So
Yeah.
I give him props for that.
Yeah.
He
And that
had that nuance and hitch too. Like I felt like he was comfortable and grounded. He didn't have to be the like over the top character.
Yeah. That happened to me, I think, around, Pursuit of Happiness, but like for sure, I Am Legend. I was just like, oh, we hit another like gear of his acting abilities. And I think too, in one of his interviews, he says, I was doing, very like disciplined, very kind of good guys and stuff. And this is a change from that. And he says, I feel like an athlete. Like, I feel like, this is me in my prime, and I'm just trying to like, do all these different things and get out of like my comfort zone and stuff. So I think that shows in Hancock. And I think the beauty of this movie too is kind of like I Am Legend, where like, genre-wise, you can say it's a superhero movie, but it breaks a lot of the superhero movie tropes and like structures. And even though the mess of their soulmate-dom and all that stuff is kind of, it doesn't make sense, I really think that part of it, like, I don't know, like it took a dramatic shift there versus just the typical like gotta save the universe part of the superhero movies. So,
and there was no overarching like
villain
or anything like that. He was just solving whatever crimes were going on. Like it was never like, oh, there's going to be an end, I'm going to defeat this guy, and we're going to be all good, which I think like lends it to why he's so miserable, is because like it's never ending. Like there's always going to have to be someone to be saved. Like when he's going to the liquor store and the guy's like 9/11 or 9110 or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, God damn it, not again. I'm just trying to buy some alcohol. Like he's like over it. which I
Yeah.
get after 80 years. I'd be over it too.
Yeah.
Feels like a really good parallel to being a black man in America. Like, just you never get it, never ends. You
Mhm.
never, like, even for him being as famous as he is, I'm sure he understands that to a different level. And I think the whole slap thing probably really brought that back into perspective. That even though he's rich, he still has these struggles to kind of
Yeah.
endure.
Definitely.
Still don't like him being a drunk, a homeless man, and not able to be with his white lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to this white lady.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was interesting the choice of having, and this is just, I guess, more like plot related, but to have him be a vigilante that's elusive but very well known. So, like, less mysterious than Batman, but still able to, like, evade and get out of trouble, I guess. But I also like that he's like, I personally don't have anything to owe these people, but he still will save someone if, I don't know, like, what, if you call it Hancock senses are tingling or what, like, he just knows,
Yeah,
or
that's a.
someone
How does he
has
know when
to.
stuff's popping
He's,
off?
I think, I mean, he saw it on the news. It's either someone hops
Someone
up
has to
in
tell
front of
him.
him, or it's on the news. And by the time he gets to the point where he's in jail, the reason he finds out is because they called for him. But I would have found this more interesting because I find it hard to believe that there's a super powered individual walking around fucking shit up and the government's not all up his ass trying
Yeah.
to figure out how to, like, power him
Almost,
down and use
yeah.
him. Like, that would have been really interesting to me, that maybe that's why she went to go hide, was because the government had, like, was trying to figure out how to control them and understand where their powers came from,
Totally.
and were using her against him because they figured out that's where his mortality was coming from.
Right.
That would have made sense to me.
And I appreciate his skepticism of obviously wanting to, like, team up with the police or the FBI or anyone else. Like, he's clearly working by himself. So the scene when he gets called out of jail by the police commissioner or whatever, and then, like, wears the suit, and he just, like, overly is just like, good job, and they're like, yeah, you said that already, or whatever. But I wish that they had also played more into that, like, why he prefers to work alone and to not want to be, I don't know, like, I don't want to say captured, but just,
he wants to be ostracized from society.
Yeah.
Like, it's he self-isolates. It's not necessarily that, I don't, like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did he isolate himself first, or did an incident happen that made him say, you know what, I'm gonna take a, back up from these people?
Yeah, I don't know, but
It's so mysterious, Hancock.
yeah, so
No
very
answers.
mysterious. And I think that's kind of, like, fun to think about. Like, yes, I asked a lot of questions while watching this movie, but some of the mystery I kind of enjoyed.
See, I had the opposite feeling. I think that's why I love the movies that are coming. They have source materials, because then if there's gaps or something, I could kind of, like, understand why if I go back. I think, like, Sky High did a way better job of creating something from scratch, but still giving us answers. I don't feel like I have a whole bunch of there's, like, a whole bunch of holes that I don't understand. Hancock did not really do a good job with. And the only time that I think you would be good to do that is if you're going to make a sequel or a prequel.
Yes. And this movie only has an hour and a half running time, which is short for, like, movie standard, like, superhero standards. So I feel like and this goes against most of the time with what I say. Usually I'm like, hour and a half is a perfect amount of time because otherwise I can't concentrate. But this movie, I feel like, could have been 2 hours. I would have even benefited from the extra half hour to have provided some, like, background story. Maybe when, like, Charlize is like telling Mary, I guess, when she's telling him about their past and stuff, that they could like have had those flashbacks from like 3,000 years ago. I want to see some Roman Empire shit. I want to see some like 1800 shit. So I think that would have been kind of cool if they had played into that more. And
I wish.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I wish that like when all those bad guys got into jail, I wish all of them had come together and said, "Let's break out." He put us all there and just really set a trap, stole the kid.
Yes,
so then they both had to be invested to like
mind speaking.
It is like they steal the kid, they want payback. And now she didn't reveal herself, and she would have been like the secret key, and they would have tore some shit up for that kid. Come on now.
Yes.
Why I gotta do all the heavy lifting?
Also, why are they giving that man a dangerous prosthetic when he's in prison? That shit was a weapon.
That is so true. I never thought about the hook thing.
Yeah, Kevin was like, they should have just given him like either a regular hand or just
a rubber glove.
Yeah.
You get floppy fingers.
And you can blow it up, and then it's just like a
or the fingers from the hot dog fingers from everything everywhere.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah. And all of those criminals are all going to the same jail, which I thought was interesting because clearly that man had an accent from many places. It was like a Scottish Southern accent. And so usually when criminals are tried, don't they go back to their home state? Or
no,
it depends.
If it's like, if they're sent to like a high like security prison, they can be moved out of state and stuff. And it's all about the money. So like that plays a factor in where they go to.
Good point.
And I think it's where you commit the crime. Like that's when you can be extradited or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Like his country could have said, we want to take him and put him, like they could have extradited him out for his crimes, or he could have been deported and sent to jail there. But
if he's from the U.S. He's going to a federal prison, it's like Con Air, where they were transporting the criminals all over the place.
Don't touch the bunny. That's all I remember. One thing I did like about this movie is I think superheroes should have more groupies. Like
word.
Like I like that.
I believe it.
They're like celebrities who would want to bang. Yeah.
I would have had the shirt can I put my hand on your cock? That would have been my groupie shirt.
I literally was looking up Hancock quotes, and on this website that is like movie quotes, cock is starred out. So it's just like hand and then 4 stars.
So many ball jokes between the kid being like, here, or like, that's a good meatball. Thanks, Hancock. There's a lot of cock and ball jokes.
There are.
I was like, how good are these fucking meatballs?
Yeah. We're talking about them an awful lot.
A lot of,
Well, she probably was making them for him like many years ago. It might have like triggered a comfort food response or something.
True. Very true.
Speaking of jokes, he had some great like one-liners. Like I opened up with the "I will break my foot off in your ass, woman." But when he stops the train, and that's the scene that I'm questioning, like, how does he know about stuff? Because that seemed like very random. But when he stops the train and everyone's like yelling at him and stuff, he's like, they're like, they should sue you or whatever. And he's like, you need to sue McDonald's because they fucked you up. And then there's a lady too who's like, I can smell the liquor on your breath. And he's like, because I've been drinking, bitch.
I noted that was like my favorite quote of the movie. I was like, yes.
Oh, and I also want to bring up the fact that they got Nancy Grace to talk about him, because I was like, oh God, Nancy Grace, no.
Yeah. Like, she'll never say no to a paycheck.
A cameo, right? She's
you better
bank on it, buddy.
Yeah, you better pay for your actions.
I could so imagine if Hancock was real, that like Fox News would be lighting his ass
Oh,
up every
God.
goddamn
So
day.
originally, before the Charlize Theron Mary drop, I was like, something's up with her. She gave me Fox News vibes because she was just like, he's nothing but trouble. Have you
Yeah.
watched the news lately? I'm like, she looks like she would be someone who watches Fox News.
She was definitely giving Karen vibes.
Yeah.
100%. Like she did not like him, and I don't remember what it was like watching the movie the first time, but watching it again, I knew that she had power. So I was just like, okay, this Karen need to sit down. I know why she's doing it, but I don't like these vibes.
Especially compared to Jason Bateman, who's just like, but he's
With
just
arms wide
misunderstood.
open.
Yeah. He's like, he's just misunderstood. He just needs like, someone who cares to help him and stuff. And she's just like, no, like absolutely not.
And Jason Bateman's character, where he's just like a little less, is like he's very just like gently like trying to course correct and like not piss Hancock off, obviously, but he's just like very gentle about it. He's like, no, not like that.
And you know what's weird is Jason Bateman's character never gets mad about. Okay, so let's talk about that scene in the hospital.
Okay.
He never seems to get mad that like really it does not address that his wife really lied to him for all these years, and two, that it's totally fine that these two are soulmates. Like, just going about his business like nothing happened. Weird. And then I kept on yelling at the screen, why doesn't someone get this child, literal child, out of whatever the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Because it's weird.
Yeah. It was, the kid definitely seemed like an afterthought.
It was trauma. Like, my mother is dying. My hero is dying. There's water everywhere. My dad ain't doing shit. And there's this Mr. Hook out here just trying to F up shit. I don't know. I was worried about him.
I was like, damn, he's going to need some extensive therapy.
Yeah.
Like, he's just witnessing way too much. And yeah, I really have a problem with the soulmate part. Like, I don't get why they couldn't have been together. It would have like pleasured my notebook soul for them to like, want to die together. I don't understand that being like oh no, besides he's the protector part. But I mean, the way you sold that with like, oh, there were more of us, but they all chose each other and so they died. Like, it's just like, damn, so y'all not gonna choose each other? Like,
right.
And she's gonna ask him to move. She's like, you've got to go away. You've got to go. I was like, excuse me?
Right.
Well, she built a life. She's like, I got roots, baby. You can go somewhere else. Go back to Miami.
I just think it's weird. Like, that's why I feel like they should have given him. I know it was really good to go against the tropes, but there should have been a real threat, a real villain, or like an organization that humans themselves could not, like, only someone like Hancock could take care of, because it's the only thing that makes sense that they don't reunite.
Yeah.
Why he
asteroid coming to Earth.
Right. Like, so a bunch of bank robbers shooting up, that's human stuff. Like, I haven't seen anything that can't be handled by humans. Yeah. Why he would need to be protector.
Yeah.
I need like aliens raining down and he's got to stay alert. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah. But I think that like their goal kind of was to just have it be like as normal as possible. And if we had superheroes walking around, like, we'd expect them to like do the menial, like, stuff like that. So, but yeah, if they did decide to create like an actual world and like a Gotham, stuff
Mhm.
like that, where these superheroes exist with human beings and henchmen and all these weirdos who all of a sudden are like, I'm the Riddler. And then yeah, that would have been interesting to see like them actually like team up and have to like they're the end all be all of like
Right.
we can't fight this. Like you have to step in. Sort of
Well,
thing.
like an asteroid, like Jackie said, would make sense. It's not
Will was probably
like a
who did that.
villain,
Independence Day, we can't do asteroids.
but
Yeah.
something that
Yeah,
humans
something.
can't handle.
Well, because like, so he's supposed to be the savior of everyone, but I mean, he's only taking care of shit in that one town, it seems
And
like.
just in Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
Yeah.
I
So
did
like,
note
what about
that
the
LA
rest
was
of the
an
world?
interesting choice because most superhero movies are like New York centered. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a superhero based in.
Oh, I have to think about it.
Yeah, Danielle would know.
Oh, Blade. Blade was New York.
Blade was shot in LA,
Yeah,
and
because
they tried to pretend it was New York.
Yeah, I was mad. I was big mad when I was watching. I was like, that ain't no New York. What street is that? Not New York.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know LA when I see her. Yeah, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head right now. But you're right. LA was a good spot.
Well, so what do we think? Well, clear what we think about this movie in 2022. But what about a reboot, a remake, a sequel, a prequel? Like, how would you feel about someone bringing Hancock back?
I don't think we need it.
Yeah. Personally, I'm a little burnt out of like superhero stuff, and especially Disney just released, this is like prior to D23, which I'm sure they're going to talk more about it, but there's like a lot more superhero stuff that's going to be coming out in the future. I think they're trying to really take advantage of like those micro Disney Plus series and turn a lot of their like hard hitting like Avenger, Marvel universe stuff into shows. And I just feel a little burnt out. But if they did decide to do a Hancock 2, it could work. But, it might be difficult because since supposedly they're immortal, they don't age, and now these actors are a little bit older. But, I mean, that was one thing where I thought that it would have been cool if they got together, because what if they got together and had a kid and then passed on their superpowers to another generation?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think what could explain it is that if they're seeing each other every 10 years, it's actually making them age. So that would explain that.
And they both are aging well, so it's
Yeah.
a nice
That's
little
true.
slow age.
Mhm.
But Charlize already, I mean, just thinking of her schedule, she is doing a sequel to another movie that was on Netflix. Can't remember what it's called right now, where she actually plays another immortal person.
Oh.
And then she also was just introduced into the MCU at the end of Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
I personally I will never have superhero or Marvel fatigue ever, because growing up reading the comic books, it's everything you ever want, because like the crossovers, the way that things were in the comic books, and just getting things right, it's been a dream come true. I know a lot of people have been complaining, especially like some of the fan bros or whatever. But like seeing phase 5 and phase 6 roll out has been really, really exciting. I love the TV show aspect, because we had them before. It just wasn't Kevin Feige like weaving everything together.
Mhm.
I think there are some characters that are better suited to have a TV series versus just a movie, because there's so much nuance, especially when you have some of the teams like the Defenders. That was great to have like the TV show of some of the groups and having crossovers. Like Daredevil was so perfectly suited for TV, and I feel like Fantastic Four would be great to have as a TV show instead of just like a movie, because we've already been there, done that. That I have
Twice.
fatigue with. Yeah.
Mhm.
3 times. We've had it 3
Really?
times, 3 movies.
Mhm.
So like so excited for that. But I do love having these superhero movies from different source materials that aren't necessarily Marvel. I mean, the comic book world has so many really good stories. And I do love that Hancock is original material. And I would love a movie that's a prequel. So maybe it's not even Will Smith and Charlize Theron. Maybe we're seeing them through the years and like that whole story and people partnering up and why he becomes like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I really went deep in that thought.
I was thinking if we rebooted it and like rewrote it because our ideas for it are way better. I think who would be a really good Hancock, like an asshole, kind of grumpy, is Zendaya.
Oh.
Basically Rue, but with superpowers.
Like she already does it, but with superpowers.
You know
like,
what though? Okay, so combining that, like take the idea of they get back together, they become mortal, and they have a baby, and then we get a sequel, and Zendaya is the product of that. She is biracial. I would totally, yes.
100%. Well, and I love her and everything, so I'm always gonna be like Zendaya. But anyway, that was my thought. Like, we'll rewrite it, make it better, or she's the offspring and get
she's
her
like
her
all
own movie.
drunk and fucked up because her parents just died. Like,
Yes.
Oh shit.
And she cares about nothing. She's alone. She has no soulmate. But we find out that one of the other lovers,
it's the kid,
had a kid, and he's all alone, immortal, all fucked up.
It's Ray and Mary's kid that she's like grown up knowing.
That's incest. That's her brother.
Well,
That's
they're
not
not
brother.
biologically related.
Don't matter. It's
That's
still
very
incest.
clueless.
If you call my
It is very
mom, we are siblings. Gross. I don't like it.
Yeah. Is it as bad as drawing your sister as Princess Jasmine, though?
No, nothing's at that level.
Okay.
That's weird.
I like where we're going with this. Though.
Yeah.
So, Will, if you ever listen, Overbrook Entertainment, call us. You know, we're four ladies with aspirations.
We got some ideas.
Yeah, I'm such a good idea person. I wish I knew like a job that was like ideas, come up with them.
Marketing is a great place for you to be with ideas because always looking for ideas in marketing.
Marketing. Let's see what else. I do, Jackie, your background. I don't understand why he defaced the moon. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe
Like
it's
again-
like a temporary ink.
okay.
He didn't think
Why?
that heart thing through. It was one of the
No.
things that irritated me the most. Maybe because from a marketing standpoint, like if you're ever going to do any of these kind of things, there has to be something that the organization, the company gets. Like you don't just tell
Good
them to give
PR.
money. He didn't sell that very well. And it's just
I know.
but what are we doing? I was confused. So we got a heart, we get a logo. Like what?
I feel like the people who are behind that brand would then slowly turn and be like, well, I don't want to support this now because we like defaced the moon or
Yeah. It was super weird. I needed some more strong thought processes.
But
in that.
I did appreciate his effort. Like he
Yeah.
was trying to like
It's a nice thing.
look what I did for my friend. Like
I would have loved for him to have an organization that he started where it was trying to help, like he was going after Hancock went to save something. He was going with a group of people to try to clean up, help the people that got injured in the mess that he left behind, you know,
Yeah.
and kind of like clean up. I think they kind of have this new organization in Marvel right now that like is similar. But that then he could be like, look, I've been cleaning up your fucking messes for all these years. Like
The Men
There-
in
you-
Black of Hancock.
mhm.
yes, yeah.
Oh man. Also, question: did we think that Michelle deserved to get yeeted
Yes.
into
Yes.
the sky like that?
I think he would have died though. Like
The atmosphere.
the
in
atmosphere
space.
and also the shock would have. I think it would have caused him to go into shock or even have a heart attack with that the altitude of that. That was crazy. I don't know how he
I
lived.
thought Hancock like flew up with him and then like brought him back down. So I was surprised when he just like a big pizza, just like
Yeah, and with his force spinning him like that, his brain would have been scrambled. Nah,
Right.
that was.
yeah.
He's
He
a little
deserved
fucker,
it.
but
Yeah.
He's
maybe
been
something.
bullying Tiny Tot over here. Aaron.
Yeah.
It would have been better to teach Aaron how to fight for himself to beat up this boy.
Oh, we told him how to do it. Kick him in his piss hose.
Is
What do
it?
you call
Yeah.
it?
I think you're right. I think it was piss hose until it's just like a flap of skin that protects his butthole or something.
Yeah.
That was funny too.
I only
And I-
remember.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I only remember the little kid from The Blind Side, and he looked. I don't
He
know
was in The
when the
Blind
movies
Side.
came out. They must have been really close because he looks exactly the same age.
hmm
I feel like The Blind Side was like 2009, 2010, maybe.
I think it's
Yeah.
2008.
Let me.
But I did
on
like
it.
him calling the other two kids thickness and goggles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, watch out, thickness and goggles.
2009.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I see.
You were.
Okay. Well,
Snack
I
and
mean-
cocktail.
huh?
Snack and cocktail?
What is your hand cocktail and snack?
Oh shit! I feel like we're all gonna say something similar, so I'm curious to like count to 3 and then have us say it.
For our drink
For
first.
Or let's see. Do you have a pen and paper? Should we write it down and then hold it up at the count of 3? Let's
I can
go.
do that.
Let's go snack first.
Snack?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
I-
my snack?
Hold on.
Right with my lipstick pen.
Oh, well, yeah. I think we're all gonna say.
Yeah.
What is this first? Snack?
Snack. So food. Food first, and then we'll do drink second.
Write my drink.
Okay. I got mine.
Okay.
I like this. We should start just writing it down.
All right.
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I can't
Oh,
see my-
cucumber.
What?
Oh, cocktail weenies? Okay,
Oh.
sketty and meatballs. I said meatballs with a Z and a sausage. Interesting. So okay, Danielle, you're thinking phallic.
I am.
Okay.
I want my hand on the cock. So it's either probably like a pickled cucumber,
A pickle.
a pickle, or a hot sausage,
A hot
like
sausage.
from the corner store. You know.
Oh, I love that. Oh, sorry, Jackie. Might be
You're good.
Sorry.
You're good. Well, I was just doing word, not even wordplay because cock is in both. But yeah,
Cocktail weenies.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think this movie had like a big obsession with meatballs. I thought that was very interesting.
Yes.
Okay, all right, let's write down our drink.
I would never say spaghetti because it's disgusting. So
You're anti-pescetti?
I hate spaghetti so much.
Oh.
We've had this discussion before, Danielle. I don't know what's wrong with
Is it
you.
because of the over?
Yep, you know what it's like.
saturation of
Mhm.
black spaghetti?
Mhm. Damn right.
Did you? I don't. No judgment if you haven't, but I explained church spaghetti to Simo.
You did. Yes, you did.
I was like, it's a very different type of spaghetti. Like,
What is church spaghetti?
I didn't grow up in a black church. I was at a white church. So it was it's more of a mixed church, and it was more of a Caribbean church. So I never had like a lot of American food either.
well, church spaghetti to me, it's like not a lot of sauce.
It's
Kinda
dry.
greasy. Yes, kind of greasy, kind of dry. Very sparse meat throughout. The noodles are probably like cut to stretch the spaghettiness of it all. But yeah, and most of the time it's probably kind of sweet. Like somebody probably put some
Put
sugar
too much sugar in it. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Ugh,
So
gross.
you might have had church spaghetti kind of. I just call it church spaghetti because I feel like you have it at like funerals and like church adjacent things a lot of the time. So
Since we're talking about church really quick, one episode we talked about, we did scary movies. So we talked about what genre of movie would you make a parody of?
Mhm.
And I said all of the Black church movies, the Tyler Perry movies, and like
Did
the
you see
TD
that they're
Jakes.
doing that?
Yes, that's what they are literally making one as we speak. And
They must have seen our
stole my
episode.
idea. All right, I'm ready for cocktail. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I was like, take my money. I'm going to see that. Okay.
I don't know if you can.
Oh, handle of booze, bourbon straight from the bottle. I'm going whiskey, and then a gin and ginger. Ooh.
Yeah, I couldn't do ale in time.
Gin and juice.
Yeah. I was doing a classy spin on gin and juice. So I did ginger ale.
I initially put a handle of whiskey on my tiny paper, but I second thought that because I was like, I don't know what kind of booze. I might want tequila or like a handle of vodka.
Yeah.
Bourbon is my favorite, so I will always go bourbon.
Yeah, thanks for that. Because I got this huge ass fucking bottle just sitting here.
It doesn't go bad. So next time I'm in town. And remember when Ken was at your house?
Yeah, that's true. Ken
scavenged and was like making up cocktails with whatever shit Danielle had lying around her house.
Nice.
It was like some cucumber vodka that he like then made into some dirty martini. I'm like, that is disgusting.
Wow.
He found olives in my fridge. He's a very resourceful bartender.
Simone just made a beautiful movie-themed cocktail for her birthday.
Ooh,
yes! Happy belated birthday!
Oh, thank you.
Did you like your GIF?
Yes, that was so cute. Thank you. Oh yeah, it was fun. I had some friends over. We watched Jaws, and I did the cocktail from Universal Studios called the Shark Bite that has the like splash of grenadine as like the blood. I've never bought Blue Carousel before, and so it was fun like experimenting the like ratios of things. But Bria brought over a bottle of Earl Stevens, aka E40 wine.
You were
sparkling wine.
Yeah, sparkling cotton candy wine. Sorry, let me just preface. And we're gonna have to save it for a good time.
I feel like that's gonna make you sick. I'm just saying.
It will definitely give me some diarrhea or like a tummy.
You might as well brought some Alizé on top of that.
Hey, I had to, keep it a certain demographic. We've had E40 wine before, so it's just adding to that family.
Yeah, and we looked down at the bottle and we're like, Jesus, this was like a 13%, 14% for wine. It's high and it's really sweet. I'm sure the cotton candy one's gonna be delicious, but I'm holding on to it for.
It's gonna get you lit.
You guys should get some plum soju.
Oh, soju.
Did you see the chick who got fucked up on soju on social media?
Yeah, soju will really creep up on you, but I would usually I would get regular soju and pomegranate wine and just mix them. Fuck you up real good.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Because she got it and it's tiny bottles, and so she's like, it says it's this much, and she's like, okay, we're gonna try it. And so
is it the black girl who always tries a different alcohol? Yes. I did see her. She just did one on
the margarita. Yes. I forgot what she said, but it rhymed, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is gold! Someone sponsor her, like Bevmo, somebody, Total Wine."
So funny, but she will tell you like which things to buy that will really get you good and going.
Yeah,
I love watching her. What is?
I have to follow her.
Yeah,
because I just see her on Twitter. Actually, I see people repost her videos on Twitter, and so I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. But obviously had a great time.
Yes. Before we say goodbye, Jackie, Danielle, thank you so much for being like truly our first like podcast friends. I remember when Bria told me when you had first reached out, since Bria's really the person who runs all of our social media content, and I'm just so thankful and proud of her for all of that. But I was like, we have friends, like we have people that want to do stuff with us, and I'm just so absolutely tickled. But please give a plug for your show, just in case our listeners live under a fucking rock. Please let people know.
Okay, so you can check us out at No More Late Fees on pretty much every channel. We are on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. We'd love for you guys to check us out. We're also on Apple, Spotify, most I forgot what we do. Most podcast platforms. You can listen to our episodes, and we cover 90s, late 90s and early 2000s movies.
And if you want to check out Roll Call on our podcast, check out our season 1 episode 25, where we discuss love and basketball. It is a great time.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And then also, if you are one of our Patreon besties, you can do a closing time with us, Simone for a little while, and then Bria.
leaving that Patreon episode was like one of my, I mean, it's not a regret. Like I just like so weird. I just got super sick.
But yeah, I think we actually make a pretty good foursome, and we make some good shared content together. So besides their episodes that we've guested on, they're also a guest on our first season as well for episode 31 of Jennifer Lopez, The Boy Next Door, and that was a doozy as well.
Yes.
So listen to that if you enjoyed this as well. But we're about to close this bitch out. So I'd like to say thank you, as always, for listening to this week's episode, and to the people who've stuck with us so far. Please come back for another episode of, I don't know, the gods and angels and superheroes version of Inside the Actors Studio.
Seriously, if you like us enough to stick around, take another deep dive down this IMDb rabbit hole with us. We can't always guarantee that we'll have as many dick and balls jokes, but we will be discussing Will Smith in the 2008 drama 7 Pounds.
Yes, and if you've got nothing better to do, go figure out a theme to watch a bunch of movies you've never seen.
I'm your host, Simone. Subscribe to The Blessed Mess. Leave us a like if you are into it.
And I'm your host, Bria, and it would be awesome for you to wipe off those buttery Jiffy Pop fingers for all that spaghetti sauce that was getting everywhere, and give us a review. Follow us at Roll Call Pod on Instagram, TikTok, my problematic fave, Twitter, and you can also listen to us on YouTube. And that has been another episode of
Roll Call! On top of spaghetti.
Yay!
All covered with cheese.
Is that a song?